What if I told you the world you see isn't the real one? That behind every headline, every decision, there might be something calculated, something hidden, something intentional. Not chaos, not coincidence, but design. We're told everything happens naturally. Governments change, economies crash, wars begin. But what if it's not random? What if there's something behind it all? The Illuminati, a name people dismiss, but never forget. Because no matter how many times it's denied, the question remains. What if it's true? The origins. It starts in 1776, a year most people associate with independence, revolution, and the birth of nations. But while the world was focused on visible change, something far quieter was taking shape in Bavaria. A man named Adam Weishaupt, a professor of law, founded a secret society known as the Bavarian Illuminati. His idea wasn't violent, and it wasn't about domination, at least not on the surface. It was about influence. Weishaupt believed that knowledge was power, and if you could control knowledge, you could shape society itself. The group began recruiting carefully. Intellectuals, thinkers, individuals who had access to information and positions of authority. They operated in secrecy, communicating through codes, symbols, and hidden identities. Everything about them was designed to remain unseen, yet effective. But what makes this story more intriguing is how they presented themselves. The Illuminati didn't openly act like rulers. They positioned themselves as reformers, people who wanted to challenge traditional structures, question religion, influence politics, and reshape how society thinks. Quietly, strategically, without drawing attention. Eventually, the Bavarian government discovered the group and banned it. Official records claim it dissolved not long after. But that's the official version, and history has a way of simplifying things, of closing stories that may not have truly ended. Because once an idea like this exists, once a system built on influence is created, can it really just disappear? Or does it evolve into something harder to detect? Some believe the Illuminati didn't vanish. It adapted. It moved deeper underground, becoming more selective, more powerful, and far more invisible than before. And if that's true, then what began in 1776 wasn't the end of something. It was only the beginning, signs and symbols. Now think about this. If a powerful organization truly wanted to stay hidden, why would it leave clues? That's the paradox. Because according to many theories, the Illuminati doesn't just hide, it reveals itself in plain sight. You've probably seen the symbol before. The eye, resting above a pyramid. It appears on the US dollar bill, officially known as the Eye of Providence. To some, it represents divine guidance. To others, something far more unsettling. A watching presence. A quiet reminder that someone is always observing. But that's only the beginning. People claim these symbols show up everywhere. In music videos where artists flash unusual hand signs. In movies layered with hidden imagery. Even in the logos of major corporations that seem to echo ancient symbols in subtle ways. At first, it sounds ridiculous. Easy to dismiss. Just imagination, connecting things that don't belong together. Until you start noticing patterns, the same shapes appearing again and again. The same gestures repeated across completely different spaces. The same themes showing up where you wouldn't expect them. And that's when it shifts. From coincidence to curiosity, you begin to ask questions. Are these random details? Or something intentional? Some believe these symbols aren't meant to expose anything. They're meant to signal. A quiet way of showing presence to those who understand it. A language without words. A system of recognition that exists just beneath the surface. Because true power doesn't need to be loud. Sometimes, it speaks in whispers. The power of the elite. Now let's go deeper. Imagine this for a moment. What if the most powerful people in the world aren't just powerful because of luck, talent, or hard work? What if they're connected? Some theories suggest that members of the Illuminati aren't random individuals, They are the elite, politicians who shape policies, billionaires who control industries, and celebrities who influence culture. People who don't just participate in society, but quietly steer it. The idea is simple, but unsettling. Behind closed doors, far away from public eyes, decisions are made, not by governments alone, but by a small group of individuals who operate above them. Decisions about economies, about conflicts, about what information reaches the public, and what doesn't. And the scariest part is this: if it were true, you would never see it happening, because the system would be designed to look normal. Elections would still take place, news would still be broadcast, markets would still rise and fall. Everything would feel real, because it is real. But the direction, the outcomes, might already be influenced long before anyone notices. Some point to exclusive gatherings, private, invitation-only meetings, where powerful figures come together in complete secrecy. No cameras, no recordings, just conversations that could shape the future. Are these meetings proof? Not exactly. But they raise questions. And sometimes, questions are more powerful than answers. Control through influence. Here's something even more subtle. What if control doesn't come from force, but from influence? You don't need to control people physically if you can shape how they think. Media, entertainment, and social platforms quietly become the tools that define perception. What people believe, what they fear, and what they desire. If a hidden group truly wanted control, this would be the most effective way to achieve it. Not by issuing orders or showing power openly, but by guiding people in ways they don't even notice. You see a trend, and you follow it. You hear an idea repeatedly, and you begin to accept it. You believe you're making your own choices, acting on your own thoughts. But what if those choices were never entirely yours to begin with? This is where the idea of the Illuminati shifts. It becomes less about secret meetings in dark rooms and more about influence operating in plain sight. Because the strongest form of control isn't loud or visible. It's quiet, it's subtle, and most of the time, it feels like freedom. Reality or myth? And now, we reach the hardest part. Because everything we've talked about exists in a strange space, somewhere between possibility and imagination. There is no solid, undeniable proof that the Illuminati, as described in modern theories, controls the world. No documents, no confirmed members, no direct evidence, only connections, patterns, and speculation. And yet, the idea refuses to die. Why? Because it answers a question people have always asked. Why does the world feel controlled, even when it looks free? When something doesn't make sense, the human mind searches for explanations. Sometimes, it finds real ones, and sometimes, it creates them. The Illuminati sits right in the middle of that line. It is both a historical fact and a modern mystery. A real organization that once existed, transformed into a global legend over time. And maybe that's exactly why it holds so much power. Because whether it exists or not, it changes how people see the world. The real truth. Here's something worth thinking about. Even if the Illuminati, as described in conspiracy theories, doesn't exist, power still does. Influence still exists. Wealth continues to shape decisions, and information is still controlled in ways most people don't fully see. So maybe the real question isn't whether a secret organization is running the world from the shadows. Maybe it's something deeper than that. Who actually holds power, and how do they use it? Because if you look at history, one pattern keeps repeating itself. Power rarely disappears. It doesn't just vanish. It shifts from one place to another. It adapts to new systems, new technologies, and new generations. Sometimes it becomes more visible, but often it becomes harder to detect. It hides behind structures, behind institutions, behind the illusion of normalcy. And sometimes it doesn't even need a name to exist. So now the question comes back to you. Do you believe the Illuminati is real, operating somewhere beyond what we can see? Or do you think it's simply a story, an idea that started small and grew into something much bigger over time? Either way, the mystery doesn't go away. It stays. It lingers. And maybe that's the point. Because as long as people keep asking questions, the possibility never truly fades. And if you enjoy exploring mysteries like this, make sure you like and subscribe, because the next story might make you question everything you thought you knew.